Hi guys, welcome back to Speculative Stories. And I'm gonna be here today talking about my April wrap up and April book haul. So let's get right into it. So, in the month of April, I read three books. Two of them were ebooks, and one of them is a physical copy. So, I will start with the physical copy, which is Who's a Good Boy? From a Welcome to Night Vale, the story scripts, the chapter scripts, and this was written by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor. And if you guys don't know, Welcome to Night Vale is a very popular podcast. It was more popular in the 2000s, 2010s, like 2012 to 2019. And it's a podcast about a fictional world where we have very weird stuff. It's like a dark fantasy, uh, but comedy mixed with horror kind of fictional show. And I really liked the podcast, and I really loved listening to it. It has a lot of representation in terms of sexual orientation, gender identity, and like different ethnicities and diverse people. And so this is the scripts for the fourth season of the show, and I gotta say that this book was really nice. I mean, it's the scripts to the show, a show I already like, but it also has commentary from the creators and commentaries from the actors that play the different voices in the show, and you get little insights at how is it working for a show like this. And it also has really sweet art, like really cute art, that adds to the reading of the story, like this. And it's a really cool book. I mean, I kind of feel like the show by this point was really not going in a direction that I loved, but the main arc of this season and the main arc of the show and the little bits, the little short stories that are within it are really good. So I have actually uh, the four scripts, or the four uh, chapter scripts that have come out, and I just read on April the fourth one. So it was really fun, and I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. So the next book I read this month of April, I read The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey, and in this book we follow Evelyn, who is the most important scientist in her field. She works in the cloning field and creating human clones for different purposes. And she's married, but she was married, but her husband left her for another woman, and that woman is called Martine. And the interesting part is that Martine is a clone of Evelyn. So her husband is also a scientist working in this field, but he took the notes of Evelyn to create Martine because he couldn't do it on his own account. And he created Martine to be a better version of Evelyn, and she is kind of pissed at this situation, of course, as she should be. And yeah, then later on we hear from Martine. Martine looks out for Evelyn because Martine is pregnant, and after that, after telling her that she needs Evelyn's help for something, and I will leave it there because I think it's one of the most important parts of the book. But it's on the first 50 pages, I believe. So this was a really short novel, but it was a really intense one, and I really like this kind of science fiction because even though it's like uh, a thriller book, you also have the science fiction part and all the science that works into this book and the cloning. And I think that the science part was written really well, and you can really tell that Sarah Gailey did her research on how researchers work and how their work schedules work and how invested they are in the research, and that's great. Also, I really liked Martine as a character. I know that from the beginning we are kind of not sure about her because we are taking Evelyn's perspective throughout the whole book. But as they get to know each other better, I really loved the way the author used Martine as a tool. Well, not a tool, but like this perspective on character development, and I just love Martine so much. And yeah, I really liked where the story went. I think that on the negative side, there were some parts of the book that the writing was kind of weird, kind of off. And of course, you can tell also the ending from far away. It's a short book, and you can say you can tell where it's going. So in general, I think that it's a great book. It's a really good book that is a really worth a try. The author did her research, and the character development is great. The interactions between Evelyn and Martine are great. And yeah, I gave this book four stars. So if you are really looking for a read that is fun and science fictiony, but also being kind of a thriller, The Echo Wife is a really good option. So the last book I read in the month of April was My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, and in this book we follow Abbey Rivers. She is a girl that is going through high school in 1988, and she has a best friend called Gretchen, and they've been very best friends and very close since they were children. And now that they're in the teenage years, they are really happy and really close and live a really nice like friendship gal thingy. But the thing is that one night they go to another friend's house and Gretchen gets lost in the woods. And when she comes out of the woods, when they find her the next morning, she seems kind of off. And after that, she's acting kind of weird. And Abby starts to think if her that her friend might be possessed. And honestly, I read this book because I know a lot of booktubers, especially booktubers that read horror, love this book and love Grady Hendrix. And honestly, I wasn't really interested in trying it, but this book was on sale. So I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. And honestly, it was a really fun book. I understand why everybody loves it. It's a really interesting story where we see the close friendship between these two girls, and we then go through the whole situation of the possession story of the person changing. And what I love the most is how close their friendship is, that even if everyone is like, oh, she's not changing or she's changing for the best, Abby can really tell that her friend is not her friend anymore, that she is acting weird, and she tries to help her really. So I love that, and I love that aspect. There are some hard and rough aspects of this book that can be maybe triggering for some people. So if you're worried about trigger warnings, please read the description box down below. And I won't say the triggers here in the video because some people might think they're spoilers. So I'll just put them down below. Those are the aspects that I like of the book. What I do not like is usually that I think this book relies too much on 80s nostalgia. Like every chapter is called after a song, and every all the time they're referencing a movie or something that was very 80s. And I don't, maybe because I was born in the 90s, like in the 95, I don't get this 80s nostalgia. And I mean, I understand when it's part of a movie and I like it, but this book really is heavy on the nostalgia. And although it tells a great story, but it's really heavy on the nostalgia, and I'm not a very big fan of that. It feels sometimes like the author is like, look, remember arcades? Remember this band? It's in the 80s. Do you remember? Like that kind of style. And I'm like, ugh, no, I don't remember. I don't care. I didn't live through it. Tell me the story, you know? Sometimes it was kind of annoying for me, but that's a personal thing. And yeah, but at the end, this story was great. The book was well written, and what I also, another thing that I liked is that it avoided some cliches with possession stories. So I won't say them, but you can read it and you can tell which cliches I mean to or I mean about. And I gave this book 4 stars. I think it was really good, and yeah, you should check it out. And now that I talked about the my best friend exorcism, it's a great point to pass to the book haul aspect of this video. And I bought 3 books this month, well, the month of April, and one of them was My Best Friend Exorcism, which I read immediately. So this month I also bought Northanger's Abbey by Jane Austen. I'm a big Jane Austen fan. I think she was an amazing writer, and I love her novels Pride and Prejudice, Persuasion, Sense and Sensibility, Emma. Emma is my favorite one so far. And this is the only one that I was missing. This is the only one that I haven't read yet. Here it says it's about Catherine, the young lady who is a fan of reading and reading novels, and she has to go live, or she goes to live with a guy for some time, like a visit, and that's all I know about the book. And it seems really interesting. Like Jane Austen's conversations are amazing. Every conversation feels like a game. Like you're trying to get information from the other person, and the other person has to try to get information from you, and you have to be very careful how you move in social circles, but not like in a thrilling way. Like if this was a thriller and I can be targeted or something, more like in a social way of, oh, I want to know if he likes me or if he likes someone else, but I like him, but he cannot know that I like him yet. Like that kind of mind games I love. I love her novel. She always makes me feel like I want to fall in love or something. So I'm really, really, really excited to get to this one. But at the same time, I want to savor it because it's the last Jane Austen book that I haven't read. So I don't know. But I'm excited to read this one. And the last book I want to talk in this video is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. And here we follow a girl who notices a lot of spirals around her and around her town. And it seems like spirals are starting to haunt her town and her hometown. And this is a great book. I have read it in online, but I finally was able to get a physical copy of it. It's very hard to find some books here in Mexico. Some books are just not printed, some books are just not translated. So I had to buy this in English, but I don't mind. I can read English perfectly. So I'm really excited to give it a reread, but to give it a reread in the physical copy. So it's probably gonna be the next month. So that's it, guys. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you're interested in my thoughts on other books and stuff, you can help me out by liking this video and subscribing. And of course, if you've read anything that I mentioned today, please comment down below so we can chat about books and we can chat about interesting stuff. So thank you so much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.